I hear is bum 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 bum. Wait, okay. Sweet dreams are made of these. I can't fucking unhear bum 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 bum.
Hello and welcome to the Invincible Podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends get to sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and joining me is Bill.
Hi, everyone.
And TJ.
Hello.
Hey, it's TJ.
Hey, it's TJ.
This is our very first monthly episode.
Episode.
This is kicking off, our big change over to only doing one episode a month. We're going to be releasing from now on every first Friday. A little bit of a different format, but, still somewhat familiar. We're going to, start off with our usual housekeeping, and if there's any Invincible news, we'll talk all about that stuff. And then we're always going to have a main topic, where sometimes it'll be like this week, a guest, or this month, I should say, a guest. Sometimes it'll be character discussion. Sometimes it'll be us talking about maybe other comics that like Ryan Ottley or Kirkman have done. Maybe it'll be something completely different, And after that, we have our section where we talk all about, we're rereading the entire series. So we're calling it the Rereader series. The first one is going to be today, Volume 1. We're talking all about Volume 1, which is the trade paperbacks. Then after that, we're going to go into just some, other stuff that we want to talk about, whether it be comics, movies, TV shows, video games, before, kind of wrapping up the episode.
Every time that you say other stuff, I always sing the old jingle that lasted like half an episode.
Yeah, it only lasted half an episode. Yeah. But it was strong. It carried on. Do you remember the jingle?
Yeah. It's the Other Stuff Show.
Oh, yeah.
With the guys talking about other stuff.
Yeah, there's a reason. We are going to be spoiling things. I know we kind of talked about this being, us reading the comic from the beginning again. If you're listening to this and you haven't read Invincible, I recommend you listen to only the new Reader series that we did back in the day before you're caught up. We are going to be talking all about the future, and in our main topic section, we're going to be talking openly about, things that happened at the end of the series and so on. We just think that it's exciting to look back on Invincible and be able to talk about things that are upcoming, and we've never been able to do that before. So if you want to be a part of the show, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We don't have any new reviews this week. We are up to about 25 reviews on iTunes. We always appreciate those, but it's not a big deal.
I'm sure we'll get more.
We will read them on the show if we ever get them. We did make a little bit of an appearance on the the Imperious Rex show over on YouTube. Bill and I were able to join them for an episode, so check out their show. We are also the Oblivion Song Podcast. And if you're listening to this, there should be a new episode coming out
next week,
September 14th.
September 14th? That's when the episode goes live?
That's when the episode goes live. The new issue comes out September 12th.
That's next week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is next week.
Because this Saturday is the 8th. Next Saturday is the 15th.
That is how numbers work.
And this is an exciting episode and issue because, the printer decided to work 2 hours later. This is an exciting episode and issue of Oblivion Song because
no one knows what's going to happen.
Yep. This is the first new issue that wasn't pre-released ever, right? So that's pretty exciting. We are also, another little thing that we're toying around with, looking into doing a website for both Invincible Podcast and Oblivion Song. Somewhere to put show notes, and if we have any other things that we want to share, maybe throw a timeline together. I don't know. We're still kind of toying with the idea. We'll probably have more to announce next month, but keep an eye out for that. Right now is where we would talk about Invincible-related news, and hopefully month to month we'll have more to talk about, because going bi-weekly, there usually isn't too much to talk about.
Well, this being the first monthly episode, is there anything to talk about, Ryan?
Not right now. But there was a really awesome Thrag custom action figure made by a fan. Did you see this?
No. What fan?
It just happened today. It was Roger Soler Serrano over on Twitter. Made this awesome.
Holy
wow,
shit.
that's straight up thrag.
Isn't that insane?
That's nuts.
I'm more impressed with the Battle Beast.
Yeah, look at that.
That's crazy.
No, it's like perfect. That looks really, really good.
It looks like. Does he say what
Didn't say
the
anything
original
else.
pieces are?
Mm-mm. It's really cool though, right?
I think that Battle Beast is completely
Original.
original.
Yeah, and not just
You
taken
can tell
from
it's
another
sculpted.
figure.
Yeah, you can tell that it's sculpted on there.
Yeah, so shout out to him. That was really, really good. TJ, you went to not only Fan Expo in Toronto this past weekend, but you will be going to New York Comic Con.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about that. I know it's not really news, but
Well, how
that's
was
what we
Fan
got
Expo?
right now. How was Fan Expo?
Fan Expo was cool. I only went 2 days this year because obviously going to New York is much more expensive, and I haven't done that yet, so I want to save a lot of my money for that.
Did you drive again back and forth?
I
or
did.
you
I
stay?
actually had a hotel, and I canceled it. I was going to go all 4 days, but decided not to. I decided just to do the 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I went Friday and Saturday, canceled my hotel, and just drove back and forth for the 2 days, which actually wasn't that bad. So I enjoyed the drive. It was fun, though. I can say that this Fan Expo Canada was I was the least excited for this one, and I've gone to every one for the past 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
There was last year I met Jim Lee.
The year before that was Ottley.
Otley.
2 years ago was Ottley one?
2
I
years,
thought that was
yeah.
last year.
No, it was 2 years.
Wow.
Like every year there's someone like I can't wait to meet. One guy that was there that I met was Jock, who's a huge comic book artist. I actually have his Nightwing tattooed on me, and I showed him that, and he loved that too. He took a picture of it, so that was kind of cool.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He does literally, if you look up his stuff, it's all like it's art that you know. Bill, you had a comic or a phone case of Joker.
His Joker? With
Yeah,
the
that
bats
was
coming out?
Jock. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He does a lot of like very popular stuff that you'd know.
Yeah.
Like if you look him up. So yeah, I met him. That was kind of cool. Other than that, there wasn't.
You got
too
a
many
bunch of cool commissions
I
too.
did get some commissions. So yeah.
We'll try and spread those online and show them off too.
Yep.
And
then New York. coming up.
New York is coming up real soon. Now, when we release our next episode of this podcast next month, you will be in New York.
I'll be there.
You will be there when that episode goes live, which
When
means
The day after Kirkman's panel, it'll actually go live.
yeah. So
that sucks.
Yeah. So right now is the last time we're gonna get to talk to all the listeners before New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
We hopefully. I'm assuming you're cool with it. You wanna, if anybody is gonna be going,
Yeah.
hit us up.
Please.
Either get in touch with either of the podcast website, Twitter handles, email us, get in touch with TJ, your Twitter handle, Hero. It's what?
Hero 1197.
Yep.
Or at Oblivion Podcast is our Oblivion Song Podcast Twitter handle, and then there's at Invincible Cast.
So get in touch with us.
I'd love to meet up with you guys and kind of maybe get a whole bunch of Invincible fans together. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, really wish Bill and I can go this year, but we couldn't make it. One thing that TJ actually was here when I put them together, I made a bunch of stickers, and TJ's going to be able to hand them out. So we have Invincible Podcast
Oh, cool.
and Oblivion Song Podcast stickers.
I fucking want one.
advertising.
Isn't that cool? Just for fun.
Oh, that's so wicked.
So if you want a sticker,
So TJ has
Come
stickers to
find
hand
me.
out.
hopefully I'll see some people in.
What I just pictured in my head was you walking around like with them. You want a sticker?
Hmm.
No, what we already decided
I'm
is
just
that
gonna throw them.
What we already decided is when TJ goes to see Kirkman or Ottley or whoever, he'll just casually leave them on their table and walk away.
That's a good idea.
All right, so this brings us to our main topic of the show. We just a little while ago got done recording with fellow Invincible fan Jenn Druchniak. Did I get it right?
That was fucking awesome, dude. Yes.
Nice. I'm sure if you're listening to us, you've seen her Invincible cosplay. We've retweeted it a bunch over on Twitter. She's got a YouTube channel and an Instagram and everything that she does a lot of cosplay. And she was just a really, really great person to talk to. And we talked Invincible, we talked cosplay, we talked about the show, the movie. It was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So
And then we talked for like another 20 minutes after the fact just because she's such a fan of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of similar interests. So we hope you enjoy this. We're going to go over to the episode now, or the chat now. Okay, so welcome to the show, Jenn. And
Thank you for having me.
And it's Jenn Druchniak?
Yes.
Yes, I got it. Now, we actually met you back in
Boston,
back last year.
Was it last year? Or was it 2 years ago?
Well, it was 2017.
2017, yeah.
It's just that just that Boston already had their Comic-Con. So it was 2 Comic-Cons ago last year. Man, that feels like so long ago.
It does.
Well, TJ and I actually got to meet you at Boston Comic-Con last year when you did your Invincible cosplay.
Yeah, that was so awesome. It was so incredible to meet you guys, and just I think it was just a way of me kind of talking about it on social media, where it was like, oh, I'm really excited to do an Invincible cosplay. I was just kind of getting into cosplay, and I found out that Ron Ottley was gonna be at Boston Comic-Con, and I met him previously in April of that year at C2E2 in Chicago, and he was ridiculously nice, and my friend and I saw him every day at the convention, just hopefully not bugging him, but he was very, very kind because we were very excited to meet him. And so when I found out he's going to be at Boston Comic-Con, I was like, I got to do an Invincible cosplay. I had just started cosplaying and I had no idea how to make it, and just kind of struggling with putting it together with, okay, how do I make a like superhero bodysuit that's like a spandex sort of thing? And I just kind of like glued pieces to a morph suit. and I was like, I knew it was going to be horrible, so I did like that kind of a bloody beaten up version of Mark, partially because I didn't really know how to really tackle the mask, and just with the fact of Invincible being so violent and chaotic, like I was happy that it kind of worked. Like I kind of like doing like special effects makeup like that, and I think just talking about that randomly on social media was kind of how we got in contact, which was really awesome. That little thing can like bring people together.
Yeah,
so
it came out awesome, and we'll repost some pictures so that people can look at it again if they haven't seen it already. But I was really impressed. I thought came out really well.
Thank you so much. It was like falling off my body, just like with trying to figure out like how to get, because the thing is when you're working with like polyester and spandex, when you cut it, it immediately just starts to tear, and sewing it onto that suit was just, it was just ripping immediately. And, trying to put the blood on, the blood wasn't like staying as red as I wanted it to. So it just looked like a big coffee stain on my chest. And, it's like we had to like hot glue things in the hotel room before going to the con. So there's just like fabric hanging off my body. Like I looked like Jack Skellington, like after he got blown out of the sky. Like, but it was super fun just because like the few people who did know who I were really excited about it. And it's like, I never get that, where it's like I've done other cosplays that are more known, like Poison Ivy, or like I've done Genos from One Punch Man and stuff like that, and people were like, oh my god, Genos, and everyone knows who those characters are, but to have a character so niche and just to like make 1 or 2 people happy, like makes me happier than being Poison Ivy or someone else, because it's like, oh my god, you actually know, like we gotta talk Invincible right now, like this is so it's really, really cool.
That's how I feel, because I go to a lot of cons, like the cons in the area, and I'll travel and go to some too. And I collect a lot of fan art, and I go to different artists, and I look at a lot of stuff, and I never ever see anything Invincible at any booth that I go to. So whenever I do, it's extremely rare, and I always make sure I get like super excited when I do see it because it's that rare. So yeah, whenever I see an Invincible cosplay, I freak out.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen an Invincible cosplayer one other time, and it was at C2E2 when I met Ryan Ottley for the first time, and he was the one who told my friend and I, he's like, hey, by the way, like there's someone dressed up as Battle Beast at the con, and we were like, made it our number one priority to hunt this person down. And we got to actually see them, and they had like this full, it was almost like a mascot-esque
almost like paper
cosplay.
mache.
It wasn't paper mache. It was like it was like a fur head. Like it looked like a football mascot costume, but it was like Battle Beast. Like it was amazing. and like just a huge person. Like it was almost like he was the real deal. Like,
That's cool.
oh my God, Battle Beast is here. It was super awesome. And you could tell the person was really excited when he saw us, because like nobody else knew who he was. And we were like just in awe.
It's kind of like when you see each other from like across
Yeah.
a football field, and you're like, and you make eye contact, and you understand,
Yeah.
and how are you introduced to Invincible? Were you like from the very beginning? Were you issue 50?
No, I probably jumped in around like issue 110, like
Oh, wow.
very,
Oh, wow.
yeah, like actually really late. And that was, so I've been out of college now for a little more than a year, and I jumped into it like my sophomore year of college, where I had my two friends that I would hang out with were like hardcore Invincible fans. They went to high school together, and they were always really big into it. And you know, hanging out with them, they would be like, "Oh, did you get the new Invincible?" And I was like, "I can't participate in this." But they, you know, when they pitched me on it, they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's great. It's about this kid in high school, and he has like his dad's a superhero, and he has these powers, and he joins, you know." And it was like, okay, this doesn't sound like anything special to me, but you guys are crazy about it. I'll totally check it out. I ended up getting the first like hardcover volume at like a Chicago like just like a secondhand shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so that first book is like the first arc. I think it ends very close to when Omni-Man fights Invincible and like leaves him bloody.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm reading it and I'm like, okay, like this is okay. Like this seems like your basic superhero origin story stuff, but like I was immediately like just thrust into it when I turned that page and I saw Omni-Man like standing over Immortal, where he's like, the feeling is mutual. When he like annihilated him and was like kind of introduced as the bad guy, it was like, wait, what? Like this totally like took a left turn that I didn't see coming. I was like, there's got to be more like this in this story. So just from there on I like binged the whole thing, and I just thought it was a fantastic series. And I finished like, so right after 112, I was reading it like every time it came out, and you know, finished off the series. But oh, man, it was amazing. Like I was really happy that I was introduced to it that way.
Were you happy with the conclusion, the final issue, and the end of all things?
I was, for what it was. I mean, obviously it was very upsetting for it to end.
I feel like it's got to be even more upsetting because you discovered it kind of later than most people.
Right.
And then you had only been reading it for like 3 years, and then it ends. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, like it wasn't that long. Like after I finally caught up, where it was like, oh, it's ending. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? But I mean, it's so tough. Like when you love something so dearly like that, to have a satisfying ending that not only satisfies you, but there's so many people that need to be satisfied in like the conclusion of a really iconic, emotional piece. And I think for what happens in the final issue, I'll accept it. It was good. It had really good moments. You can tell that there are so many ideas there.
Yeah.
And that he was just like, I gotta step away. Like, I got other things I gotta do. And I gotta, like, he wasn't giving Invincible as much love and care as he wanted to anymore. And I think, like, he was like, here's the rest of what I had.
Yeah.
And I think there are great moments in it. Like, I love that montage sequence of Tara, like, growing up. I think that was great. I was like, this is amazing. And, like, moments like that in that last issue were, I was very pleased with, because it was satisfying that way, where it's like, okay, at least I am experiencing everything all at once, but at least there are answers here. And I'm getting these, like, all the questions I have are being answered, and I'm happy about that, you know?
I'm going to ask you a very difficult question.
Oh, no. Okay.
Who's your favorite character? First character that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Go.
Mark, like, and that's like a dumb response, I feel,
No.
but I really honestly, I really like him. And I've been thinking about this question like all day, guys. Like, I was like, who really is my favorite? Because I think that Mark is awesome, and I think that he grows up a lot. Like, you see him change so much through this whole series, and you haven't really seen that with a lot of superhero characters, where you have like him being this naive teenager who doesn't know, like, he's just being a stupid kid, And then you see him like go through college. You see him with the first girlfriend. You see him with the love of his life. You see him become a father. You see him have a better relationship with his father. You see him have a relationship with his daughter, with his illegitimate son, sort of, in that last issue, like stuff like that. There's so many things that Mark goes through in this series that I never lost interest with him. He was never a boring protagonist with me because he was always going through so much, whether like the fights that he had to go through, all of the like relationship stuff that he had with Adam Eve and that he had to deal with that. And like I said, like, his relationship with his father, like everything all the roles he had to take on and that were thrown at him, he handled it in a really, powerful way, and I really like that about him.
That was extremely well laid out,
as you say. That was
like,
extremely
laid out. You summed that up very well.
Thanks.
And you made me think about something that we've never talked about before, which is another reason why Invincible is so fantastic, is that Mark changed. Like, Mark at the end is not Mark from the beginning. Because if you think about Peter Parker now is Peter Parker from back then. Even though he was a high school kid, it's still literally he's the same character. Like, Batman is always going to be Batman unless he's Dick Grayson. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the only
and even
protagonists.
When those characters do change, they always bring them back. They always bring them back to the roots of what they were.
It's always like an arc, like, ooh, Bruce is gonna get married, but then it's always just I'm brooding and I'm Batman. Like, there's no real growth change.
And that's one thing that's really exciting, because after our chat with you, Jen, we're going to be going on to our discussion about the first volume. We're rereading the whole series, and we're going to be talking all about the first volume. And it's so different. It's so weird to see young, happy Mark, in high school. Like, you're right. He changes so much.
And you see that a little bit too. Like, you're almost like it's literally forced upon you as the reader when they do the reboot, where it's like, wow, he really has changed, without going back to that first issue, but in the same way, I mean, you are. Like, it's crazy. And that's what's so incredible about Invincible as a series, is that, again, when it's pitched to someone, it sounds like your run-of-the-mill superhero story, like the same origin thing that we've gotten from Spider-Man and all these other series. It's like, okay, we've seen this before, but we haven't. Yeah. Like, there's so much that's unique about it, and that it really just takes all these tropes and flips them, and it catches you by surprise in every single way. And that's what's, I think, fantastic about the series, on top of, like, I think the art is exceptional. Like, there's so much to that series that's special, and that's why I get so excited when I see people at a convention that recognize the character, because it's like, oh, yes, like, you're one of me.
Do you think that is going to carry over into the movie, the animated show, anything like that?
I hope so. I definitely, like I said, like, Invincible is very special, and I think that it just, like, it hasn't caught the light that The Walking Dead has, or other Kirkman's other work, but when it does, it's gonna light one hell of a fire. Like, that's the thing. And like, I was working at a comic book store for the last year, and I'd see, like, I would never see anyone buy Invincible. I would recommend it to my dying breath to everyone, but like, people who bought like Walking Dead or Oblivion Song and stuff like that, I was like, dude, you gotta check out Invincible. I said, mark my words, in a few years, this place is gonna be covered with Invincible merchandise, and I'm gonna be the crazy old man going, I told you, like, see how popular this shit is. You got Invincible on mugs, you got Invincible everywhere, because it's so good, and I think it's gonna blow up in that way. Like, and it's crazy that we're getting not only the movie now, but the animated series, which is just fantastic. Yeah. And so it's gonna be able to be consumed in so many different mediums that it's like, it's gonna be nuts. I think it's gonna spread with popularity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we can tell by everyone that has read both Walking Dead and Invincible. I feel like most of them are really in love with Invincible. Like, they find out, like, oh, this is really something special. And not that Walking Dead isn't, but there's something about Invincible that I think a lot of people we talked to, and it was cool that it wasn't it's not how you were introduced, but a lot of people we talk to, they're introduced, including us, we're introduced to Invincible by Walking Dead. That's just, it's kind of a gateway. And it's interesting because we really believe that is kind of how it's going to go again. We're going to see that happen again with the movie or the show. It's like...
Creators of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, for everybody, the guy that wrote The Walking Dead? Well, he wrote this, you know what I mean? And all these superhero movies are out and everything, and this is a unique take on that. So that's going to be
right,
cool.
And it's a perfect time for it to come out. Like, after, I think, like, it's so exhausting, like, the types of superhero movies that we're seeing. And I think that now Invincible, like, it shouldn't be seen as, like, just another superhero movie, because it's not. And I think that it's going to be refreshing yet familiar to this Marvel audience that have fallen in love with the superhero genre, which I think is great.
If done right.
Right.
If done incorrectly, then it could just be like same old rigmarole. But, if done right, if the passion is behind it, and I don't know how about you, but I think that we're all on the same page where we're more, I don't think TJ's the same way, excited about the animated series.
I mean, an R-rated adult animated series. I think, for something that it's tough to get, monsters and special effects and aging and de-aging and all that kind of stuff done in live action. I mean, I'm excited to see that, and I hope they can do it. But, I know that the animated will most likely be a little bit more faithful, which, again, makes me more excited for the live action, because it'd be cool to see their interpretation.
Like an ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree with you guys. Like, and, after I finished reading it before the movie was announced, like, I would talk with my friend and be like, what's the best medium for an Invincible? Like, how would Invincible be adapted? And it was, like, animated TV show. Yeah. Absolutely. On something like, it's being shown on Amazon, but it would be like Netflix, maybe if HBO picked it up, like something like that is the best way to do it, and that's the beauty of animation, is that it is limitless. Like, that's part of the reason I love anime, is because, like, there's no limitation to the weirdness or boundaries on what you can animate and what's, like, what you're going to swallow. It's just like, it is what it is, and I'm going to accept it. Yeah. And I think that's and Invincible is the perfect property to do that. And I do worry a bit about the live action adaptation because of those limitations set in place with not only the powers, but as you said, like the Monster Girl transforming, and like the violence, I think, is a very important motif in Invincible, and I think that needs to be shown through the film. And if it doesn't get an R rating, I will be disappointed. It's like, and will it have the budget to carry out, like, the effects that we want and the fights that we want? Like, I don't. It's tough to say right now. We don't have enough information, but I think the animated series is definitely something I'm looking forward to more, because it's the adaptation that I would have picked first.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm actually looking forward to the movie more than I'm looking forward to the animated series, because I'm not worried about the animated series. It's going to be everything that we want. So, I can't wait for it, but I'm curious about the movie.
Yes,
I want to see,
curiosity.
Is it going to happen the way we want it to happen? Who's going to play who? I want to see castings. I want to see, all that stuff. Like, I can't wait for it. That's what I want to see. Like, I'm nervous about it, and that's why I just want to know. I just want to know.
And I want to say, your fan casting video was one of the first videos that, like, we saw when the movie was announced. You got that out there real quick. It was really good. I want to say we even talked about it on our episode when that
was
went
announced.
live.
Yeah, we talked about Bella Thorne.
Yeah, you picked Bella Thorne, right?
Was that you?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That was such.
That changed.
You don't
changed.
Think so anymore?
You don't like it anymore?
I don't know. I think.
Okay.
Bella Thorne as a person.
Okay. Yes.
Looks-wise. Oh yeah.
It's.
I think she's great.
Oh yeah, that's all we're really referring to. I haven't seen her really in anything other than a couple of trailers.
She's in that new show. What is that show where she's like an up and coming actress or something like that, right?
I don't know.
I haven't heard of that.
She's the lead of a show that's been it's like at least I think maybe 2 seasons in, but my wife watches it, and she's got a lot of fire behind her in that, because it's about her being like this shy up and coming actress, and then all of a sudden she's like a huge thing, and all these people are on her, and then she like changes, kind of like Walter White did. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, for the worst.
That sounds cool.
Huh.
So
she was a little rebellious, I guess, is the good way to put it.
I worry about that. Yeah, like just seeing how she is in the public eye, I was like, I just think back to her as Adam Eve, and I'm like, it's her capability it's her ability to commit to the role is what I worry about.
Exactly.
It's like,
I see that person, but then I see her in a trailer for like a romantic comedy, and I'm like, okay, so, I mean, maybe she can. I don't know. I'd just be nervous about her carrying a I don't know, trilogy, maybe more.
Exactly. That's the other thing, too, is that one of the biggest questions we have about the Invincible movie is, like, where are they going to end it? Like, does it end after he fights Omni-Man? Are we going to get more than that? Like,
yeah.
How many movies are they planning on doing? Like, how far are they going to take this? Are they going to do, like, a time jump? Are they going to start him? Who knows? Like, there's a lot to cram into a film,
What's funny about the whole Bella Thorne thing, too, that was when the weekend that we met you, when we were in Boston, we were in our hotel room, and another fan favorite actor to play Mark is Dylan Minnette from 13 Reasons Why.
That's it. Yeah, I have him picked too.
We were in our hotel room and we were just like watching TV, flicking through stuff, and there was a movie with what's his name? Steve Carell is in it, plays the father.
And the terrible, no good, very bad day.
Yeah, the terrible, no good, very bad day.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of it.
And Dylan Minnette plays the older brother who is dating Bella Thorne.
Yeah, in high school.
Oh, weird.
It was
really
actually
cool.
it was perfect. I thought it was like really good.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It was
wasn't
interesting.
bad.
Oh my god, I had no idea that they were in a movie together.
Yeah.
Like you should like YouTube a clip of them talking together in high school.
It wasn't a bad
It's really-
movie either. It's worth checking out.
Oh, I'll definitely YouTube that clip and just be like, Mark,
yeah, right.
Like, I need to watch.
So what are some like, as far as your YouTube channel and what you're doing with your Instagram and everything, like what have you got going on?
So my YouTube channel definitely. So I just moved to New York City, first of all. So, I've been transitioning over the last year. Like after graduating college, I have my degree in film production, like concentrating in editing. But like content creation is something I've really grown a passion for, like within the last 2 years. And like making these videos and doing cosplay is a way for me to. I'm like trying to break into it in that way. And so with my YouTube channel, like my whole thing is that I just want to be able to talk about what I want to talk about and kind of meet people that way, like Invincible. Like I have a lot of like very niche interests that are tough to grab an audience for, but again, like you meet like Invincible, like there's those few people who are just so passionate and committed, and just putting your voice out there to be like, hi, hello, like I'm an Invincible fan. You get to meet all these awesome people. I've done the same thing with like Jet Set Radio, which is a Sega video game that came out in the early 2000s, and it's like that has a very niche audience, and there's a whole Twitter account that's like, hi, Jet Set Radio, hello, and I'm like, hi there, like it's kind of cool. So yeah, like with my channel, like I really like doing like the fan casting things. I have a couple more planned, like for some anime adaptations, like if I were to cast them. Just kind of, I like talking about anime and manga and just kind of bringing to light ideas that people haven't really thought of before. Talking about how art is done in comic books and manga and how some of them are cinematic and some of them can be considered more cartoony, or, talking about film, whatever the case is. I just I have a list of different topics. And again, it kind of just brings up interesting conversations with people that maybe presenting thoughts that you haven't thought of before. And then, I do have my cosplay as well, which I, again, started like a little bit more than a year ago, that I absolutely love doing. Just being able to kind of bring characters to life in that way is super inspiring and just a ridiculous amount of fun. Just, when people see Mark, it's like, oh my God, they're not seeing me, they're seeing Mark, or they're seeing Genos, or they're seeing whoever. And it's like, you meet a lot of really awesome people that way. And the ability to be able to craft and kind of brainstorm, like, okay, how am I going to make these robot arms? Or how am I going to make my eyes look yellow and black? And, how am I going to do the wig? How am I going to just bring this character to life is very fun for me.
Yeah,
so
the Genos one was awesome. The Genos one was
I think I saw that one too,
Yeah.
and I was super impressed with it.
Yeah, that one was really
That
cool.
means I've put in so much blood, sweat, and tears in that cosplay. I haven't done him in a very long time, but hopefully next year I'll touch him up. But yeah, I mostly just dabble with like anime and manga, but I want to branch out more and do more like video game cosplays. Like I want to do Elizabeth in her blue dress from BioShock. I've done her burial at sea
That'd be awesome.
outfit. I love BioShock 2. That's something that I've done a video on, like kind of my BioShock Infinite cast.
I remember when you started playing it, right? It wasn't too long ago when you played them all for the first time.
Like that's the thing too,
And
is
you
that
were,
I feel like
tweeting
I'm so
and you
late
were
to the
tweeting
game.
about it, and you were like, your mind was blown, and I could see, like, as you were progressing, I'm like, this is really fun to watch.
You know what's amazing is that I just started to play BioShock Infinite again, and when I played through it the first time, I was like, meh.
Dude, I
That
loved
was okay.
it. The whole. I told you guys I borderline liked it more than Rapture.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
Borderline. Here's the thing.
That's a tough call.
Here's the thing. The atmosphere in Rapture is way better. However, I liked the ending of Infinite more. Even though
Than
Rapture
everything
blew
else,
us away
yeah.
with their ending,
It's
would
the
you kindly?
environment. The environment
But-
of Rapture.
But the ending of Infinite was one of the best endings
Yeah.
I've seen in a video game.
Oh,
story
absolutely.
and the
Oh,
amount.
the pinky.
Yeah, the amount.
Oh my
just
gosh.
not even that. You know what's crazy is that you didn't fucking play the DLC, which is the.
Oh my gosh,
defin-
play
Are
it.
you
Play
fucking?
it.
He hasn't
I
played
didn't-
it.
I didn't play
He loves fucking
I
Infinite.
didn't.
And
but he
you're
hasn't-
saying that
I did
Infinite is
not.
amazing?
Dude, you don't even. Yeah, that's what you get. You get your headphone torn off. The DLC. Anyways, it's much better the second time through.
I need to play it
Oh,
again.
it's excellent.
Because
and
it's
the
like-
thing about it's so cinematic. Like
Yeah.
it's like playing a movie with that game. Like all the characters are really fleshed out. And I talked about this in my BioShock video. Is that the thing is with I totally agree where BioShock 1 and 2, like Rapture is an amazing place. I love being in Rapture. It's a super cool world. But you're just playing as like blank-faced Jack or Delta. Like there's no identity to your character besides like a couple little details. But like I felt like when you're playing Infinite, it's like you're Booker. Like Booker has this backstory, he has this personality, and you're in this mindset of Booker. And like the thing with video games is like you should be playing. Your protagonist is kind of supposed to be a blank slate because he's supposed to be you, or she's supposed to be whoever it is. It's like Master Chief has his mask on because you're Master Chief. You know, it's like he doesn't really have a lot going with him. But Booker, I think, has his own identity. Elizabeth has her own identity, and I like the way that game plays out is so vivid and just excellent storytelling. Like, I think it's awesome. I really hope there's a movie for that game.
That would be great.
There's supposed to be there's the
There's
rights.
supposed to be a
There
movie
was
for
for
the
the
game,
first,
though.
for the first
Yeah.
one. There were plans for it, but I don't think they ever I don't know what happened.
I
But
remember a board game came out a while ago. And,
A BioShock board
yeah,
game?
like a BioShock.
Really?
board
That would be
game.
fun.
It actually looked pretty cool.
So
What are you
speaking of cosplay, are you going to New York Comic Con this year?
I'm really hoping to. I
You
had
only got like
plans.
6 more days to buy a badge. I think Thursday is
I-
the only day left.
I know. I'm like dragging my feet on it because it's like I have plans, but at the same time, like it's like I'm also doing Anime NYC for sure, which is a
okay.
month later, and I also have KatsuCon in February, which is a really big convention for me. So it's like
It's a lot.
I'd really like to go to New York Comic Con, and it's like I'm still going back and forth where it's like, do I buy a badge? Can I get my cosplay done in time? So if I do go, I'm hoping to get Halloween Town Sora done
Oh my god.
for that convention. But that's a big,
That'd be so cool.
that's very ambitious cosplay to get done in a month.
Oh.
But man, I will definitely bring him to KatsuCon. So I've started on him, but yeah, that was my ideal plan. But things are kind of getting rocky, but we're working on it. So hopefully I'll be able to go. Are you guys going to any conventions this year?
I'm going to New York,
Okay.
so I'll be there. So
Other than
I mean,
that,
if I don't
think
go to
we're-
the con and I'm in the area, just hit me up and we'll hang out
Yeah,
outside
for
the
sure.
con. Yeah.
awesome.
As far as anybody listening that wants to find your YouTube channel or anything, is there your Twitter handle or anything else you want to pimp out?
Yeah. So the best way to kind of see what I'm up to is on Instagram is kind of the platform I use the most.
Okay.
And it's Floral Galaxy Cosplay is where I post like all my cosplay photos, all of the stuff I'm working on. Occasionally I'll go on some nerdy rants on there. And Twitter as well. Twitter is just Jenn Druch, which is just like my first name and the beginning of my last name. So, and again, like I'm trying to be a little bit more active on there and just kind of talk about like movies I've watched and kind of engage people. with just different things that I'm up to and be like, oh, like, and see what they're up to as well and see if we can like connect in some way. Like, oh, have you seen this movie? Like, let's talk about it. Like, my biggest thing is that I just like talking to people about stuff that we share in common. And I think it's wicked fun to kind of present new ideas, but also receive new ideas from people and kind of see things in a different way that I hadn't thought of before. And like, you can do that when you're talking about movies or video games or like with cosplay. It's like, every time I see like a Genos cosplayer, I'm like, how did you do your arms? I need to know. It's like, oh yeah, I did like this elastic thing with the finger soak because my fingers always fall off because they're just kind of put on like rings. I have like different pieces for each of the joints. And I saw someone who has like, they're attached with like these elastics, so it just slips on like this giant glove. And I'm like, how did you do that? Like, because this is awesome, like so innovative, and it's really cool. I always like kind of hearing new things and being able to teach people as well.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Thank you so much for chatting with us. This was a blast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been really exciting, guys. I'm so happy we were able to do this.
Yeah, we'll talk more.
Absolutely.
Maybe especially as it gets closer to the movie and especially the animated show. We're gonna be in touch.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't wait to talk about that. I'm like praying every day for just something to drop for either the movie,
piece of news.
Anything. I don't care what it is. Some poster with just the sky and Mark blasting off where you can barely see him. Anything. I'm fine. That'd be awesome.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
All right, yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
And we're back. Thank you so much, Jen, for chatting with us. We had a blast, and hopefully we'll get to talk more soon. Right now, we're going to be going into our next segment of the show, which is our Rereader segment. We are talking the first 5 issues of Invincible. This is Volume 1 trade paperback titled Family Matters, which is appropriate. I do have a little thing to add to this. I thought this would be fun.
Okay.
Bill, you got a sneak peek. 2003 is when the first issue of Invincible came out.
Oh, yeah, I did.
In 2003, gas was $1.83 a gallon.
Oh, my God.
Apple launched iTunes. The 5th Harry Potter book came out.
I feel like that's not lining up. Like, I feel like the 5th book...
Not the 5th movie, the 5th book.
Right, but I still feel like the 5th book would be later than gas being $1.30 something.
Yeah, $1.80.
$1.80 still.
This was also the year the top movies, some of the top movies were Return of the King, Finding Nemo, X-Men 2, and Bad Boys 2.
Oh, Bad Boys 2.
Good. Some of the top songs were Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Wow.
Bring Me to Life by Evanescence.
Oh, my God.
Hey Ya by Outkast, Seven Nation Army, White Stripes, Numb by Linkin Park, and every single 50 Cent song, because every song was a 50 Cent song in 2003.
That is so, like, you know what you just did? You placed me.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Where I was.
The Game Boy Advanced SP was released. The PSP was revealed. Devil May Cry 2 came out.
Oh my God! Media Play!
Knights of the Old Republic came out for Xbox. And Amplitude came out for PlayStation.
Are you kidding me? Amplitude came out and we were just fucking singing...
We've been singing that song all day.
Oh my God.
So yeah, just to put yourself in 2003.
I remember what got me was the Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I remember because I went to Media Play. And I was looking for video games with my mom, and I saw the cover of Devil May Cry 2, and I was like, I should get this. Media Play, dude.
Yeah.
That's when issue 1 came out?
Yeah. So we were, what was that, second year of high school?
2003 was 2 years before we graduated, so yeah, second year.
Yeah. What got me was Return of the King. Geez, Numb by Linkin Park.
No way, do you remember when Hey Ya was like on...
Bring Me to Life, TRL? Evanescence? Evanescence was, every time you turn on the radio...
God, I was so not into comics then, or really anything.
That's what I mean. I was thinking about this, and I was trying to think, like, who were we in the second year of high school? Like, what were we into? Like, we were just dumb kids.
We were just dumb kids. Like, I still play a lot of video games.
Yeah.
But I didn't do anything comics. I love Batman, but that's it. But I didn't really read anything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
Isn't that crazy to think that that's when the first issue came out?
Mm-hmm.
So... The first trade, it actually had the first the first trade has a different cover. The first printing, it's actually at the back of the second printing. So that's what your trade looks like, right, TJ?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have the first printing.
Yeah. That's the first
that's
printing?
the one that, this is what the cover looks like. And that's the one that you let me borrow when you first got it, and we started reading
That's
this.
so weird. Why is that the first?
That was the cover originally.
I don't get it.
It's the fridge. It's their fridge magnet. Like, it's
Oh,
Mark's
like,
fridge.
okay,
There's
I-
letters,
Whole thing. Oh.
pictures, and stuff like that. But then it was re-released, and it has a little bit more of a theme to all the covers, where they
Right.
have like a character and the panels in the background.
Much better decision, I think.
Yeah, I like that cover though. I mean,
I like
it's
it.
funny, but it's just it doesn't. I mean,
It's not a cover. It's a back.
yeah, it looks like the
yeah.
back. So we're not going to do what we usually do, where we go page by page, because that would take forever. And this is already going to be a long podcast. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about rereading it and what it was like, and how. I mean, the first issue. We got to talk about the cover. Do you guys like the cover to issue 1?
I think
TJ,
it's synonymous now.
TJ
Like, it's
loves
iconic.
it.
It's iconic.
I never liked it.
You still don't like it?
See how you said still, because you know that I've always felt that way. I've never liked it. I don't like it.
You're crazy.
Why? It's just him in the front
It's-
of a wall with.
I know, I get that.
But
like,
you've seen like hands together dripping blood and like
If-
dinosaurs jumping at him.
If
and...
I were to show you for the first time, like issue 1, and you were to say that, I would agree with you. But being such fans of it, like I feel like it's grown on me.
It has
and
grown.
It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
It's
It is
iconic. It's iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other.
I agree, but I don't
I
know.
like it.
Okay,
Want to see what the
Plus,
original
I
cover?
like issue 1, and you're like searching for it, whatever. To be simple, I don't want it to be something crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, like with a simplistic cover, like issue 1 of The Walking Dead, it's Rick standing in front of like the broken glass, and you see the reflection of the
don't like
zombies. Like,
that.
you don't like that
That's-
cover?
That is a
No, I
lot
don't.
like this one though. I
No,
think
it's
they're very
not.
similar.
Oh, they're both standing in front of things that are
Yes.
broken and cracked.
So this is in the back of this
Like
volume, the
his
sketchbook
family.
section. There is what the cover was originally, but it's basically the cover of the trade
Much
with the different
better.
panels. I
Much-
really like that.
Much better.
But apparently they thought that someone washing dishes and reading the newspaper wasn't really appealing, so they just went with the cracked wall throughout the whole thing.
So instead of him being in front of people doing things, they just put a black
A shadow.
wall.
It's ominous.
It is?
It is. There's a shadow. There's someone he's about to fight.
I guess so.
Yeah. So the whole first trade and the way the issue starts is that flash forward to a flashback of you really ruined my afternoon.
Which, is it weird? Is it just me, or does that look like amazingly better than the rest of the
No, it
comic?
looks awesome.
Like
it
the
looks awesome.
The detail
I love
on Mark's face.
all the art in this first volume. I think is, for the most part, really good. I mean, I like this a lot. We've got this. We get the call back to Mark sitting on the toilet. He's reading a science dog. This is when Nolan is shown on the TV fighting.
Fing Fang Foom.
No.
The Asian guy. The
Lin.
tongue, the jaw guy.
Lin.
Yeah, Lin.
Mr. Lin?
Mr.
Mr.
Jin Lin?
Lin? No, it's definitely Lin. I want to say it's Mr. Lin.
Mr. Lin?
Yeah, we're gonna go
The
with
dragon guy.
that. One of the little Easter eggs comes when we meet William for the first time. A guy on the side has an AFI shirt. Obviously, William has a Gap shirt that says Rap.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Reginald VelJohnson. This is the first call to Family Matters that we get, which is Reginald VelJohnson is the actor, right? That plays Winslow.
Carl Winslow.
Mhm.
Died.
He did.
He did? He
Yeah,
did.
He did.
Of course, Mark getting his superpowers at the dumpster, throwing the bag of trash.
Very iconic.
Yeah, one of the best parts.
Yeah. I mean, Mark going out and flying.
This is where it's like, oh, this isn't very good. Where
Are you
he's like,
kidding?
he is talking to himself the entire time. He's like, and he's not even thinking. He's talking.
He
well,
does
Dad
that.
said that if I jump off the roof, that it's like an instinct, and I'll just start flying. Like there's a lot, and then as we go on, I think you'll see like
It definitely feels
it's very corny.
more lighthearted. I don't know if I'd go corny.
Oh,
it's
it's
just
so much
lighthearted.
corn in this.
He first of all, Korn is an amazing band, okay? Jonathan Davis would be honored to be in this comic. But I don't. He's acting the same way that he does throughout the comic book.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, first of all, he would never talk like that.
He's
he would
acting
never say
like a child.
No.
I think it changes. He's acting like young Mark.
Yeah.
Like him yelling "too cool," like that's not something that the Mark that we know later on would really do.
Yeah, he would.
You think so?
He's always done that. When Eve does something cool, he's like right on or awesome. Like he's always kind of geeking out over stuff.
No, I guess you're right.
Yeah, this is Mark.
I think it's corny.
I don't mind it. I'm okay with it. We get to see Titan robbing a bank with some bank robbers. In the background, we have O'Donnell's roofing, and then underneath that it says parking in rear.
Oh, nice.
Kind of the very first ever parking
Titan
in rear.
Is the very first villain that Mark fights.
You're right, he is. The dragon is the first villain ever shown, well, unless you count the flash forward. Chronologically, it would be Titan, right?
No, there's no villain shown in the first.
I would call him a villain.
Who he's carrying?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. But, chronologically, yes, Titan is the first one he comes across. And it's in his makeshift costume.
I really like this costume. You know
So
what it
do
reminds
I.
me of? You know what it fucking reminds me of?
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Homecoming?
Homecoming.
Yeah, dude.
This entire first issue
Yeah, I was going to say, we could talk all about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I mean...
We'll get to it. Like
No, but I just mean the costume itself with the goggles.
It's got
and
Flash Johnson, Flash Johnson?
Thompson.
Oh,
Flash
yeah,
Thompson.
in school, him fighting him,
fighting him. Like, it's got the pre-costume, the homemade costume. We'll get into it. There's more than that, too. We'll get into it.
Just the way Mark talks in this, like Nolan being like, hey, what, has it been a week since you got your powers? Mark's like, 2 weeks actually. I'm still getting the hang of it. I've been wearing this when practicing flying. Like, it's so lighthearted and fun. The first time I saw these goggles, when he takes them to art shop, he has the bulletproof costume, the orange and yellow. The first time I saw the goggles, when I was rereading it, it reminded me of the blue goggles that Tara wears when she's older. Remember, sometimes she wears the blue like sunglasses, and sometimes she has the goggles.
The goggles that look
when
like
she's like swimming
goggles?
underwater. Yeah, yeah.
They look nothing like that.
Oh, I thought they looked like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be mistaken.
Then we've got the Flash Thompson scene, obviously with the callback to Steve Urkel. So the bully's picking on Steve Urkel, who we find out from the principal that his name was Steve White, which is a blend of Jamal White and Steve Urkel.
Slayer t-shirt.
Yeah.
And a Tool t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that he really liked, like, Cory Walker loved putting stuff on t-shirts. Like Derek's shirt says Mofo, but it is in the logo of something else. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but so Invincible stands up for the the kid getting picked on. Professor Winslow, or B.N. Winslow, the principal, I should say, says, that boy was almost twice your size. It's not your responsibility to protect the other kids here. You're not invincible, because he had talked about how he wanted.
Which is a straight up line from the Spider-Man movie.
Is it really?
You're not Superman,
Oh, well, okay, so it's not.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not invincible, and then his name is. I mean,
which
it was
is
like
really funny to think about, right?
Smiled.
Like, there's no way that line would be said in a Marvel movie these days. She wouldn't reference Superman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isn't that funny to think about how the Marvel movies have changed?
When I think of like the Corners book, though, like Principal Winslow was talking to him and was like, "You don't need to be sticking up for him," and he's like, "Don't worry about that. My nose is deep in the books. I've got it.
Get into a good college this year.
Next year. Like it just seems like it's for children.
I don't
It's for
think so. I think
so either.
children.
I think the way Mark is talking is like a high school student. What you talked like that when we were listening to Evanescence and Lose Yourself. You know what I mean? Like you.
I don't think I did.
I don't know. On this next page during a
also
debate.
when we were listening to Evanescence, I wasn't Mark's age.
Well, yeah, you're right, but you know what I mean.
Yes, you were. High school, bro.
I don't think I was in high school in 2000.
Well, Mark's a senior here too.
In 2003,
99.
you were in high school.
I guess I was 16.
We're in the middle of high school. This bank robbery that's happening at the end of the comic. There's an Akira jacket walking along. then the first issue ends with these bank robbers running out, going to the back, and one of the robbers,
Having to get away.
yeah, one of the robbers threatening to blow him away, and he says, "I wouldn't try that. I'm invincible." You guys
Thorne.
think? Do you guys think? Yeah. Do you guys think it's a good first issue though?
No.
I disagree. I liked this so much rereading it. It didn't like.
I mean, it's very by the comic books.
Yeah.
By the books.
It's introduction of powers, introduction of the suit, you know, character development that he doesn't let the bullies pick on the little guy.
By
like
the books, man.
it is.
By the books, and
It gets the job
and
done.
He doesn't have anything that sets him apart. He can fly, and he's super strong. He's Superman.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Superman in Spider-Man's like world.
All right. So maybe I like it a lot, knowing what I know and looking back at the simple beginnings.
Yes.
Yeah,
As
because they do
opposed to,
callbacks
like-
and stuff to make it more, you know,
Yeah, but I
Make it better.
guess you could say like
as a standalone.
if you were reading it without knowing anything.
I have a question that kind of foreshadows everything.
Mhm.
And Jenn talked about the twist with Omni-Man standing over the Guardians
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Do you think that would have been as impactful if the comic book did not start as run-of-the-mill like this?
Mm.
And because the tone of this
No, because
comic
think
book
about it. When
is-
everybody talks about Invincible breaking expectations or
it doesn't
subverting
It doesn't
expectations,
up until that point.
it doesn't. No.
But was that intentional? Did Kirkman try to build a world that was cliche, kind of run of the mill, and then all of a sudden,
I think it
boom,
has to
change it?
because issue 2 starts with Nolan doing the now iconic. You know,
Right.
it's time we had the talk.
Let me ask you this about the first issue. If I had given you the first issue and you read it, would you have looked at me and be like, I can't wait to continue reading this because of the potential would
No,
be...
I mean,
you know what
I'd
Like,
say, you know, like I don't know where it's gonna go. I'd say, is there more? Like, does
I
it
would
get
think
good? I'd probably ask you if it
I
got
would think
good.
there's no way... Well, yeah, but I don't know if it gets good.
You're
I'm
saying
just
right
giving you,
away?
I'm just
Yeah.
giving you issue 1 and that's all I know.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I would be like, there's no reason for me to continue this. It's not going to go anywhere. I'd be
Yeah.
wrong.
I mean, there was the thing that carries throughout this whole volume in the first issue where Mark's like, "Oh, I think I'm finally getting superpowers," and Debbie's, "Oh, that's nice. Can you pass the potatoes?"
Yeah,
Like,
no
they're
big deal.
yeah, they are trying to make it out to be.
Well, I'm not saying the second and third and fourth issue is bad. I'm just saying the first issue.
Yeah.
I think it gets better as it goes on, for sure.
So issue 2 starts with several pages of Nolan talking about the Filtrum Empire
World
and going through
Government Committee.
going through the whole lie, and then, you know, the Mark saying, "Wow, I'm going to be able to fly." Mark's standing in bed. Mark goes out for a flight, and stumbles upon the Mauler stealing game boxes, and the teen team shows up. This is our first introduction to the teen team.
Which is Rexplode, Robot, Adam Eve, and Duplicate.
Mm-hmm.
And Rex throws a pebble, and it hits him, and he says, "That was just a pebble. Imagine what I could do with a golf
A
ball."
BB.
Or a BB. That's what it is.
Yeah, knock him out, and this is when Mark and Eve meet. They find out that they're in the same class together, and I always thought this scene was interesting because not only do people always reference it because Mark says, you know, is there any way you can keep this whole, you know, my identity a secret? You never know when your next teammate is going to go crazy and become the next big villain. People were referencing that a lot when Robot happened. But, I mean, isn't that a little bit more, isn't it more accurate to say that's Omni-Man?
Yeah.
People were referencing it as like it being foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I don't think it's foreshadowing.
not to Robot. I think it was just Omni-Man, if anything at all.
I'd say if anything at all is
Yeah.
closer.
I also found the logo on his shirt always interesting because it's basically a Viltrumite logo, but rearranged.
It is?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, if the long one was in the middle and then one of those was right below it.
Oh, yeah. I suppose.
You look at the logo right there.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I like how disinterested Eve is.
Oh, and of course we've got Red Sun Superman
Oh my
walking
god,
by.
that is Red Sun Superman.
He even has the curl in his hair.
Oh my gosh. That's Corey Walker doing some stuff there.
Dude,
You know
oh
Ottley
yeah,
likes
dude.
to do shit like that.
Corey Walker, I feel like Corey Walker hides more than Ottley. Like he's hiding so many little things in this. One of my favorite lines in the book, you'd be surprised how rarely people look up, them changing in the dumpster. We never really get to see Robot use his bike that often. There's even, that's what the hero clip
never
is.
even use it.
Yeah, the hero
anymore,
click is him riding it. Well, because he can fly.
Yeah.
You know what?
Kenny?
You know what?
now.
He didn't fly
He didn't fly.
early on. That's why. Oh.
Upgrades.
Yep. They break in on the Mahler twins. They're trying to create a bunch of robots. They stop them. We get the Twin Pines Mall page, which is the mall from Back to the Future. And as
And we get, is that Marty McFly? Looks
yeah,
like Marty McFly,
yeah.
doesn't
And
it?
that's Paul Hill over on Twitter brought that up. And I didn't catch it, but I did catch
Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I
and
caught
what
Charlie
other
Brown,
people
yeah.
online caught that I didn't was these two right there in the middle. What do you see?
Are they ninjas?
It's Jay and Silent Bob.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Isn't
Oh shit, you're right.
that cool?
That's hard to see though, because
Yeah.
you see that he's wearing a trench coat, he's got a beard. Like, I was like, what is that?
And then the guy with the
the long
the
hair,
beanie and
the
the long
beanie,
blonde
yeah.
hair. Funny. So a student was turned into a bomb and blew up at the mall. Chapter 3. This is this might be my favorite cover of all 5 issues. I really like the Flaxon Dimension, them fighting those guys.
Mhm.
So issue 3 was, let's see, a lot more of. Oh, this is when he quit the Burger Mart. He freaked out on his boss, ended up quitting, and later that night, his dad told him, you don't really need that job. You should probably just quit. And he never, until Eve gets him the job, Mark never has to deal with a job again, right?
Yeah. He never does anything else.
Mm-hmm. It's what?
I'm just.
How does he live? How does he eat?
Yeah.
He lives at home.
Yeah, but
After
if
that,
he always lives with
Cecil.
Debbie?
After that, Cecil pays for
Yeah,
everything,
Cecil-
right?
true.
So, okay, in this panel, we have him suiting up to go out with Omni-Man. This is the best picture we have of the way his mask is made. Like, you can actually kind of
Oh, you're right.
see how it would work.
The goggles are super loose. They're just kind of half attached.
He's pulling the mask over his head, and you can see that's conformed to his jawline and his ear hole.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That is interesting. So the ear hole is just a small hole probably, and his ear just fits through it.
Like, I think you think, oh.
And it's really tight. You know what I mean?
What if it's tight? What if it's like elastic?
I'm thinking it's a small hole
yeah,
that's
small
elastic.
hole, and that's kind of like what holds. Then his ears would hurt, but he's a Viltrumite, so
wouldn't
elastic around his ear
matter.
would be like around. Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
This was always one of my favorite pages with them flying together and his dad swooping down because there was a chemical fire at the university science lab. They go out for burgers and they get interrupted because there's an alien invasion. It's the Flaxons, who we now know a whole lot about, but in this instance, when they're invading, as they're fighting them, they're just getting older.
Mm-hmm.
It's not till later on that they have different devices and things like that that'll.
Right. They
keep
don't
it
even
from-
have anything to stop the aging because this is the first time they don't even know.
Yeah, they're just aging down. We get to see a little bit of rage in Omni-Man. He throws a tank and yells, "Get off my planet," which I don't remember ever batting an eye at that. Which is interesting looking back at that now.
You think that was like
I think that was intentionally.
him feeling like a Viltrumite? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, think about it. The next time we see that Nolan, other than when he's beating up Mark, is when they're attacking the 3 Viltrumites are attacking that planet that Oliver is from. Come on, Bill.
27. 27? Issue
I
27?
think it's 27.
Telescria.
Not
I
Telescria.
want to say it.
No.
Thraxia.
Thraxia.
Thraxa.
Because they're Thraxan.
Thraxans.
Thraxians.
Yeah. Remember him freaking out and the
Yeah.
tears in his eyes?
Oh, yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what this looks like to me. So that was I also really like this page too of them flying back afterwards. Oh, this was also when
Him not being able to keep up.
yeah, but this was also when Nolan mentioned if it had gotten any worse, I would have had to call the Guardians of the Globe or Megaforce or both. I said on Twitter, I was like, wait, so who's Megaforce? And Kirkman replied saying that it was another comic that they kind of,
Kirkman replied that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was somebody else talking about.
No, that was Kirkman. So he actually saw that and replied about it. I'm going to pull it up because he said it was from another comic. He said, Megaforce was a team from Noble Causes by Jay Fairbairn and friends. The sea monster Nolan fights in the flashbacks during issue 2 is also from the book with, let's see, who is this? With Jamal Igle called Venture. We had a light shared universe back then. So yeah.
Interesting,
right?
Kinda like
Something
Savage
I never
Dragon
knew.
is
Exactly.
kind of shared, yeah.
But I mean, I've known Noble Causes kind of did because Invincible makes appearances in Noble Causes and stuff.
Oh.
We're gonna have to talk more about those comics some other episode. Maybe that'll be a main topic. Yeah, Mark can't keep up with Nolan. Nolan gets word, which by the way, Nolan, like, they're nowhere near the mall. Nolan just says Lakeside Mall, try to keep up, and flies away and goes to the mall. I never really thought that Cecil was in his ear telling him, right? Is that how else did he know?
Yeah,
he doesn't have
probably.
super hearing. He
Right.
doesn't have supervision. Like,
It would have to be Cecil in his ear?
so did Cecil just get a reading that there was another bomb or something? You know what I mean? There's no other way to explain that. I don't know. It was just something that caught my eye when rereading it. And of course, Nolan just throws the kid because there's not enough time. And there's this moment in his eyes where he's like, I gotta kill this kid. I gotta throw him. There's nothing I can do about this. And he throws him into the air and he blows up. And that's also when a Flaxon shows up and takes Nolan into their dimension and disappears.
This, I would say, is when it's starting to get a little bit more interesting because it's kind of in the meat.
Yeah. And
You
this is, I was wrong. I've been saying 5 issues. This volume is only 4 issues.
Yeah.
I thought it was when
Man.
you said 5. I
Yeah,
was like,
I had it.
5?
I had it written on my notes as 5, but that's wrong. It is 4. So the last issue of this volume, cool cover though. By the way,
I actually really like that cover.
Yeah, it's a really cool
That
cover.
one might be my favorite of the 4.
Yeah, it is pretty
Tack
cool.
jacket?
Ah,
Oh.
Mark showing up to tell Robot that there was another bomb. Robot's like, yeah, I already know they're from your school. We get a little bit of affection between Rex and Eve here.
Remember not knowing what Robot was? Like, is he a guy in a suit? Is he like...
I think
An
I always
actual
assumed
AI
he was an
robot?
AI.
Yeah, I did too. I
I-
always thought he was an AI.
That just made it all the more crazy when the helmet was removed and it was Rexplode.
No, but we knew that it was...
We knew it was Rudy.
That issue,
that it was Rudy.
issue, we found out he was Rudy.
No.
No, that he is a robot, like he is an AI. We found out a couple issues before that he's being controlled by Rudy in the tube. That issue, we find out he cloned someone, and was going
Really?
into the suit.
That's all
Yeah,
one issue?
That's one issue.
Wow.
Issues before that, we find out
No,
that
I
he's
mean
being controlled.
AI like completely like, but he's not an AI. Like he's not.
He's not AI.
Rudy is directly
remotely
controlling.
controlled.
He's directly controlling him. He's not like
Yeah.
serving Rudy and be like,
Correct.
"Here you go, sir."
And remember when we thought that when he kneels down?
Yeah, when he kneels down
Oh.
with the fucking thing. Oh, good.
So cool. A lot with Debbie here about her being like, I like what she said where I could sit here and watch him battle 100-foot dragons on TV all day long, but for some reason, every time he's in another dimension, I can't help but assume the worst. And Mark really consoling her. And at one point during class, their teacher, who we've now seen a couple times.
Once before this.
What's that?
Once before this.
Only once?
Only one time. He was in class.
Really? I thought it was twice. He picks on Eve and Mark because they're whispering to each other and kind of embarrasses them by calling them out like boyfriend and
Calling them
girlfriend.
lovebirds.
And that's interesting because earlier in this issue, or I think it was this issue, or it's in this issue, Eve and Mark are in the cafeteria and they're talking about like investigating, like trying to figure out who did it and like what's going on with all these missing students. And Mark says, "Sorry, sorry, but let's be realistic. Should we be searching for clues right now? I, for one, am not dressed for that sort of thing, and we don't even have a dog. That reminds me of Scooby-Doo, right? Which we always kind of refer this first volume to, right?
It's
The
this
Scooby
guy's
gang.
introduced.
Yeah. We got the gang, and it's the one guy you saw earlier wearing a mask, like he's the bad guy all along.
Mm-hmm.
And none of Invincible is like that, except for this volume. And so it was really interesting that they actually called out Scooby-Doo in the volume that reminds us of Scooby-Doo. So after they leave class, Robot informs them. Well, he's fighting the Magmites, by the way. You can't really tell it's them because they're like shadowed out, but those are the Magmites that Doc Seismic controls.
Yep.
And they're very prominent in issue 50. Mark and Eve get word from Robot that he's like, "Oh, yep, I figured it out. It's your physics teacher, David Hiles. He's the one that's turning these students into bombs. I'm 99.9% sure. The police are on their way. You guys should head over there." Mark and Eve get there, and one of the best things is the teacher's like, "Oh, I'm not surprised. This finally happened. I thought I'd have a little more time, but you might as well come in, Samantha. Come on in, Mark." And they're like, "You know who we are?" And he's like, "Are you kidding me? You're not even wearing a mask." Another thing where it's like, this comic is slowly, taking your expectations of superhero comic books and kind of being like, yeah, shining a light on them. In his basement is Derek, the bully, it's not even the bully. It's the guy that was called up to class in the first or second issue or whatever, and he was kind of acting like a jerk to his girlfriend and everything. And David Hiles says that bullies like him were what led his son to kill himself, and all this time his life has been getting worse. He's lost his job's been getting worse. He's like, all these things has led to, and my divorce led to me losing my job. It's the destruction of life that has me seeking revenge. It's the domino effect, and he's turning basically bullies into bombs, and then he reveals that he has turned himself into a bomb, which is our first panel of the comic. Mark takes him, flies him to Antarctica, throws him into the snow. He blows up, and the comic ends with Mark arriving home, sitting down to dinner, his dad walking in, and Debbie just grateful he's okay. And
he has a beard.
Oh, yeah.
Full beard, and he says, "I need to shave."
Mm-hmm. We actually find out what happened to him. Well, this next page, Debbie says, "Anything happened to you today?" Mark says, "Oh yeah, one of my teachers were turning my classmates into organic bombs. Then he tried to turn himself into a bomb. I flew him to Antarctica so he didn't blow anyone else up." Nolan's like, "Yep, I spent the last 8 months enslaved by an army. They built a resistance. They formed a team of scientists in the rebellion to find a way for me to get home." She says, "That's nice. Who's ready for dessert?" And it just ends. We find out more about Nolan and his time there when Robot and Monster Girl are trapped there.
We do?
Yeah. They talk more about, they reference it. I don't remember exactly, which is, I'm excited during this reread to get to that, but they reference, when so-and-so was here, or when there was once someone here, like, they talk about it.
We're not going to get to that for like 3 years.
Oh, no, it'll be less than 2. This whole reread will take 2 years. But yeah, it's going to be like a year and a half before we get there, which is a while. One thing I wanted to do with you guys was, and first of all, obviously we talked about Robert Kirkman. Cory Walker did the art. A shout out to Bill Crabtree. He was the colorist back then. He colored it, and Robert Kirkman was actually the letterer back then, so he did all the lettering before there was a Russ Wooten involved. One thing I wanted to do with you guys is every time we do this, I wanted to pick a page. Pick one page that, if you could own, which would you own?
So
we wanted to guess.
I feel like page 1 is off limits, right?
Yeah, I feel like the very first page of both issue 1, issue 1 and issue 2, honestly, I think are both so iconic that they're kind of obvious. Mark saying, "Yeah, you're ruining my day flying with him," and then issue 2 is Nolan reaching out. Those I feel like are kind of givens. Like, of course I would want those.
Okay.
But other than that, TJ, what's one that you would want?
No.
Like, what do you want? The original? I'm talking the original art.
But we want to try and guess what each other picked first.
Ryan, write down a keyword of the page that you want.
I won't lie. I swear.
What page do you think that I... So we were talking before this, and I said that I think I know which one Ryan's favorite page is. And he said, no, I don't think you do. It's a little weird. And I said, no, I definitely think I know. And then you said...
I'll tell you which one it is. I'll tell you which one it's not that I struggled with for a little while because I really liked.
The one that you think I'm going to say is what?
I think it's the one I changed my mind. It is the one. Yeah. What you think I think it might actually go with.
Oh, okay.
I really like him flying at night.
Okay, that's not what I was
I
going to say.
was thinking this for a long time because there was something about during this reread. This was one of my favorite parts of this whole reread because it's just Mark sitting there. He's like, yeah. First of all, it's him remembering his dad telling him this story where the story ends of him and a little boy saying, wow, I'm going to be able to fly in that funny moment after this whole long story. And then it's him laying in bed and he's like, yeah, I can fly.
That's the one you thought I was going to say?
And he just says, screw this. And he goes out the window and just flies. And it's just such a heartwarming, like, just wholesome moment. And I love that. I struggle with that, but you want me to tell you what I actually go with? I don't know what.
Yeah, it's not going to be, neither one is going to be the one that I thought then.
No?
No.
What were you going to go with?
I thought you were going to go with them having burgers because you always loved that. You loved that came up again.
The hot dog place.
Yeah, the hot dog place.
This one?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
No.
Because that was like, when we talked about that, I think it comes up in issue 57, where Mark takes Oliver there. And I remember how much you loved like that moment between a father and son and everything. I just remember you talking about it. So I thought you were going to say that.
One moment that I also really loved, of course, is the end of the first issue. I wouldn't try that. I'm Invincible.
Okay, so which page would you...
I really like him throwing the trash bag. I think it's
so
the moment Mark gets his powers.
Iconic, yeah.
It's iconic. Okay. It's so cool. I would want to own that page.
I was going to say either the trash bag or the first appearance of the teen team.
Oh, that is a good one.
So I was going to say the appearance of Eve's butt.
Of course.
And
so TJ, this splash page?
Yep.
That's a good one.
It's a full splash page. Maulers.
You were going to pick
It's got
that
Mark
one.
in it. And then
First appearance of Rex.
Exactly.
That is pretty cool.
Mine is almost cliche.
What's yours, Bill? If you can own one original art page.
So it is not the page that we're not allowed to choose. Where is it? Where's issue 2?
You're on it.
The other one that it's on?
This is the beginning of issue 2.
Oh. Is the second... No, wait. Where is it? Oh, third page. No, one more. One more.
Him talking to him?
That one.
Oh, yes. That is a good page.
So, because, like, Nolan looks so young. He doesn't have the white hair. It's Mark. One of the only times you see him as a kid. And I love this.
Playing with the science dog figure?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just there's a lot of innocence there.
In the back, in the, like, sketchbook section, they talk about how they had to make, like, a one-page preview of what the comic was to put in an ad. And it was that page. But Mark was older. How cool is that?
I was going to also say this page.
Isn't that neat?
Oh, that is cool.
And I like
this page, but it actually, I don't think it could count because it wasn't in the comic.
Yeah. That was the original.
Go to that again?
Pinup.
Yeah, it's Nolan.
It's him basically. It's Nolan having the puberty talk, but with superpowers to a Mark who is kind of the age we know him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a different take on that conversation. Still neat though. I also love this. This is one of the first times he drew them, so they're in their costumes changed too.
They're at shawarmas.
All their costumes changed pretty much, except for Robot and Mark. But Eve's costume's different. Duplicates.
Rex is completely
not
different.
even close.
Yeah.
He's got like a motorcycle jacket on.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Does he always have that cap? Oh, it's his goggles that are different. Yeah. But really cool. Really fun looking back at Volume 1. We've got a email from our friend Wyatt Layne. He says, "Hey guys, just finished my reread. It's so fun to look back at the early moments now that the series is finished and think about how much these characters will grow and all the crazy things that will happen in the very same locations they're in at the start. At the same time, I like to imagine what it would have been like if I was reading these issues month to month when they first came out. And honestly, I don't know if I would have kept buying them after the first 4 issues. Not that they're bad by any means, but the main pitch of the series up to this point would have seemed to be the superheroics are mundane in this world idea. Issue 4 even ends with, "That's nice, can you pass the potatoes?" line. Like many others, it's the confrontation with Nolan that really hooked me on the series. But if I had been reading month to month, I think I would have enjoyed these 4 issues, but I can imagine this being a comic that would have just fallen off my radar, like so many do nowadays, that fail to really grab me in the early issues. Obviously, knowing now where the series go and how much I love it, that would have been a tragedy. But what do you guys think? If you had been reading single issues each month, do you think that there's enough here in these 4 issues that you would have had to come back eager to buy issue 5 a month later? Thanks for reading and keep up the great work. Love, Wyatt Layne. Now, we talked about it after issue 1.
That's exactly what happened to me, actually. So I got Invincible because we were fans of Walking Dead, and I wanted to see what else he had. So I got the first trade paperback, which we just went over, and I read it. And then when it was done, I was talking to you guys, and I was like, "It's good. I liked it. I thought it was, it was fun. It was cool, But I never picked up another trade after that, and I was off of it for like a good month until my birthday hit, and we were at Denny's, and I think it was you.
Yeah.
It was you that got me the second trade paperback, and you that got me the third trade paperback. And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'll continue it. That's cool." And then from then on was nuts.
We never talked about that. How
You're
long?
welcome. I don't remember that at all.
How long between going 1 and 2?
It was a couple weeks probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't like you read the first one and were like,
I think it was longer than that.
If we hadn't have been like, TJ's reading this thing, what do we get him for his birthday? Like, I don't know, he's reading this comic, let's get him the next one. Like, if we hadn't have done that, do you think you would have kept getting? Do you think you would have got the second one?
I don't know. I remember enjoying it, and I remember telling you guys, like, you should read it. It's good. And I think that's why you guys thought, like, oh, we should get him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's really hard to put myself in a position, like, right now, this day and age, if I read these 4 issues, I would probably feel like I'd like that, because I like the idea of the kind of mundane world. I mean, I'm kind of getting to know these characters. I'm intrigued by who Robot is and Adam Eve and this whole relationship with him and his dad being this great superhero. He mentions these guardians of the globe. Who are they? I'd be intrigued, and I think I would pick up issue 5. I don't know what I would think if I read this in 2003.
I'll be honest.
High school me probably wouldn't have kept going.
Now I probably wouldn't have, because of how far comics have evolved.
Yeah.
Like reading Saga, like I don't know, like back then it was different. Back then I'm glad you guys got me the second trade. Like, I was happy to get it even before I read it, because I did want to continue it. But now I don't think I would pick up issue 5 after reading that.
I wouldn't, not at all, because I compare it to how things make me feel.
We're spoiled now.
Yeah. But I mean, even if, like, you think about how certain comics make you feel, like Die. The first issue ended, and when the second one came out, I couldn't fucking wait to read it. And the second one ended, and I cannot.
Remind us to talk about that. I want to talk more about that in the comic section coming up.
I can't fucking wait to read the next one. Like, this Invincible, it was just like, if I were to pick it up right now, I don't think I'd even be like, I'm curious, because I feel like I would know the story.
Yeah. We also got a message from the Nerd Bunker. So they are at nerd_bunker on Twitter. They said, trade paperback 1 brought back a lot of excitement for me. The subtle Superman jokes throughout are one of the many little details that make the story so enjoyable. I have always loved how calm Mark's mom is about everything. From Nolan being insanely super to Mark getting his powers, it's just another day for Debbie Grayson. A great moment for me was seeing Nolan have a real heart-to-heart with young Mark about where he comes from, and Mark just wondering if he was able to fly. Reginald VelJohnson High still makes me chuckle. More Debbie being awesome. She finds out Nolan is in another dimension, and she responds with, well, more pork chops for us. Chapter 4 brought in a little more humor for me when their teacher knew immediately it was Mark and Eve in disguise, specifically poking at Eve not even wearing a mask. This kind of humor during serious story moments is what makes Invincible great. The ability to make fun, pay homage, and tell deep story that makes you want more all at the same time is why I love this book. Final takeaway for me was going back to Corey's art and enjoying the simplicity of it. It fits so perfectly as the simpler times that set up Ottley taking over, going into the more intense and dramatic moments. The art evolves with the series. Intentional or not, it's brilliant. Also, I love the art for the sound effects, specifically how they do the double O's and boom and etc. I forgot how much I loved that. That was great. Thank you, Nerd Bunker. Yeah, we didn't even mention or call back all the Superman callbacks or references. Like his original suit was gonna have the discs that store sunlight. That he thought his powers originally ran on sun. At one point he says, "Oh, contrary to popular belief, that's not one of my powers."
And that's Wolfman's suit.
I was just about to say they redid that for
instead of sun, it captures moon.
They're technically the same thing. So
cool.
If you want to be technical about it, the moon light is just the sun refracting off.
So refracting?
Yeah, refracting.
Okay. So why does the moon turn him into a wolf?
That's
and
a
the
good
sun
question.
doesn't?
That's a very good question. I've always wondered that.
So that does it for our Volume 1 reread. We'll be back next month with Volume 2. So everybody do your homework. Write in. We want to know what you think. I'm excited to read it. Bill, right now, what is something that happens in issue 5 through 8?
I fucking have no idea.
Right?
I have no idea.
It's funny. Haven't read those in so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done the reread several times, but it's kind of
The
exciting.
big moment happens.
Does that happen in Volume 2? The Guardians?
Yeah.
That's we get issue 7 next.
That's Ottley's
next month.
first.
We get issue 7.
Yeah.
That's exciting. No, Ottley's first is 8, right?
Is 8.
Yeah, but 7 is where.
Right.
So does next volume end with 7?
No,
It's by 5,
ends-
6, 7, 8, 9.
So I don't know.
I don't know. Either way,
Where it ends.
trade paperback volume 2 is going to be next month. So for a few minutes now, I want to talk about some other stuff that we've been into lately. You guys have been talking all about a TV show. What is this TV show that I need to watch?
Okay. So
I always want to call it Space Ace, which is like Kirkman's very
Yeah,
first comic
it's-
book ever.
it's very weird. It's called Final Space, and it's a TBS animated show that aired last year.
Yeah.
So and it's
We
10
talked about it
episodes.
on the podcast
It's 10
a long
episodes.
time ago.
It starts out very much like the main character Gary is very obnoxious to the point to where it's almost cringeworthy. Where you're
Oh
like,
God, I don't like
"Oh."
that kind of stuff.
I know you hate that kind of stuff,
Oh,
but
But you like Last Man on Earth.
but that's the only thing I don't like about Last Man on Earth. I can't stand the main character.
all right.
Oh.
So Final Space, the animation is so weird because it goes from being very simple and like super cartoony to like really fucking good and epic, like the space stuff that's happening. The stories, I will fucking
So is it a
go down and
comedy?
say, yeah,
And it's
Yeah.
animated.
Oh yeah.
it's an animated comedy sci-fi show.
This is how you need to. It's Futurama
Uh-huh.
meets Rick and Morty.
Very. I don't think Rick and Morty at all.
Yeah, I do.
No, I
do
don't.
all day long.
Interesting.
Even the animation too.
And how can you watch it?
You'd have to have like the TBS app, like
Got
the
it.
All Access
Yeah.
TBS app.
Or watching it on TV. It's not on
Right.
Hulu right now.
No, it's not on Hulu.
I wonder if
So-
TBS shows ever end up on like Netflix.
It's really fucking good. Like
It's smart.
it's
cool.
so smart, but more than anything, like Rick and Morty's smart. Like that's really fucking smart. The stuff that they come up with, but this is just emotional. Like, do you
Really?
remember the most heart-wrenching parts in Futurama?
No.
Hmm.
I've watched occasional
the
Futurama.
most-
There are very heart wrenching
I remember
moments
Avatar
in Rick
Last
and Morty.
Airbender emotional
Okay,
moments.
so you know the most emotional parts in
Yeah.
Airbender? It has those. Like,
Ugh.
it goes from being just ridiculous to then just having the most heart that you could ever have in a show. And it's really weird because it's 10 episodes. I couldn't stop. I finished it in like 2 days. And
I pulled that out of your table.
I'm like, TJ, there's a piece of film strip, like legit Kodak film strip. It's like something from the Zapruder, like sitting on the table, but it's a picture of a squirrel on a column. Where did this come from?
From your inside, there's a whole bunch of
All
stuff
right.
in here.
I'll have to look into it, Bill. I want to see it. And we just mentioned Avatar: Last Airbender. We're hopefully going to be doing a rewatch soon. Shout out to our friend Wyatt, who finished the entire first series, all three volumes, or what is it? Seasons, all 3 seasons of that. It was fun watching him read all
Or books.
catch along.
book
Yeah,
1,
or
book
books.
2, book 3.
TJ, you finally got to see Mission Impossible Fallout.
I did. I thought it was good. There
Yeah.
were some cool twists. And,
Yeah.
surprises. It was good.
Yeah, I loved it. When you hear this episode, Spider-Man will be out for PS4. I haven't watched any reviews. I don't know anything. All I know, it's getting really, really good reviews.
No, it's not.
Bullshit.
It's getting good reviews.
It's all 9s, except for IGN was like an 8 something.
Yeah.
Are you being sarcastic
No,
right
I'm being
now?
serious. I was excited for it for like a very small amount of time, which was like maybe last week, where I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to fucking see. Holy shit, the review's gonna be out on Tuesday. I can't wait. Like, I bookmarked IGN so I could read the review right when it comes out. And then as soon as I read the review, I'm like, sounds like another fucking Spider-Man game, just for PS4.
Perfect. I'll take it.
No,
That's
dude,
what I want.
I wanted
That's
a
what I
10.
want.
I wanted a 10. I wanted.
What the hell is the difference
I wanted
between
that
if-
headline. I don't fucking care. I want it to be like game changer, like change Spider-Man.
The people I trust that I follow that review games say that this is the best superhero game. What
Better
else
than
do you
fucking
want?
Arkham?
What else? Yes, that's
No.
what they're saying.
No, they're
what
out
else
of
do
their
you want?
goddamn mind.
Arkham wasn't
it's
a
an
10.
Arkham clone.
Arkham wasn't a 10.
It's an Arkham clone. Arkham City was like a 9.5.
So what? This is getting 9.5.
No, this is getting
from
an
other sites.
8.9.
Just from IGN. That's one person's opinion.
I like that opinion.
Who wrote it?
What's the Metacritic?
Who wrote it?
What's
Who wrote it?
Some guy.
Yeah,
that probably,
that's what I mean.
That probably
So-
plagiarized it, anyways.
Oh God. No, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. It looks beautiful.
Are you buying
the gameplay.
it?
I already bought it.
Oh, you pre-ordered it?
Yeah. No, I'm excited. So you don't even think you're gonna get it?
No, I'm gonna get it.
Oh man.
I'm gonna get it, and it better be fucking good. It
Yeah.
better be fucking good.
Within the last week, I crammed Hollow Knight on Switch and beat that. Bill, it didn't break you yet. When you texted me the other day, I thought it broke you, and you were done.
I thought I was never gonna play it again, because I had.
It's a Metroidvania.
I had over 1,500 Geo.
Yeah.
I didn't know where the fucking shop was to spend the money. I got all the maps and stuff like that, but I didn't upgrade anything.
And it's a Souls-like game where you lose everything.
Yeah, you
if
lose
you die.
everything. Well, no.
Well,
no.
you can still get back.
But if you die going back, then that soul overtake and you fucking lose. And I almost threw my Switch. I almost fucking threw it. Like, I was like Liz was kind of saying something like, "Oh, he's been playing that since yesterday," as in 12 hours straight. And then once I did, I was like, "You want to know how I fucking stopped playing this game? This is how I fucking stopped playing this game." And I was done. And I didn't play it for 2 days straight.
Oh my God.
Yep.
It's good though. It's worth it.
It is amazing.
Some comic books. There was someone who wrote into the Oblivion Song podcast a couple months ago and recommended Isola.
They didn't even recommend it. They just were talking about it.
They just mentioned. They said something like, "Oh, everybody's talking about Isola, but nobody's talking about Oblivion Song."
Yeah.
And so we checked out Isola. I read the first issue on my iPad and was like, "Holy shit! I'm just gonna wait and buy the trade," because I saw that the trade was coming out.
You didn't read any more after that?
I didn't, and it's killing me.
I've read 3 more issues.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it as good as the first issue?
No.
Oh, really?
No. In fact,
did you like the first issue?
yeah, I love the first issue.
Oh, it was so good.
It kind of.
It had a real. The art style is awesome.
It kind of turned into the Emperor's New Groove for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
In a story way, not a comedy way.
In a story way, in that it is the Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah. I
more
mean, you get that
fantasy.
from the first issue. I mean, it
Yeah,
still
but in the
maintains
first-
it's like
No, but
it's
in the
still
first-
dark.
In the first issue, you're like, is she really the queen? Like, do they just worship animals? But no, it actually.
I assumed
is
the queen was turned into a tiger.
Oh, okay. So you knew that it was Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I
Meets
assumed
Aladdin.
I assumed it was a new take
It's Nala.
on that concept that came out 15 years ago. Yeah, I was okay
It's
with
a fucking
that.
awesome movie. David Spade's best movie.
As opposed
saying
to
You didn't like Emperor's New Groove?
No, I did.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, in his catalog of his career,
Joe Dirt?
are you making an
Joe-
argument for Joe Dirt
Are
right
you
now?
not making an argument? Are you arguing against Joe
Oh
Dirt?
my god.
I'm sorry, let's take a motherfucking
You're
poll right now. I
such
guarantee
a-
that everybody, literally everybody, will side with me and say that Joe Dirt's an amazing
They're all
movie.
wrong.
Not one person will say
There
that they
could,
don't
there
like Joe
could
Dirt.
be multiple wrong people in the world.
No, not this many people.
Tommy Boy, isn't that David Spade?
A fucking Tommy Boy.
I'll say Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy's probably
All right,
the-
Tommy
the-
Boy and
the
Black
top.
Sheep.
When I think of
Black
Emperor's
Sheep.
New Groove, I think the one part I think of is when Krunk is escaping or sneaking around and he's making up his own theme song, and then the spotlight hits somewhere and he freezes and he's like, like it's on loop. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You know
It's
what I'm
been a while
talking about?
since I've seen
All
it.
right, we'll watch it when the podcast is over.
Ryan, you keep telling me that you're gonna read or possibly catch up on Batman.
I've been wanting to ever since the whole wedding was hyped up. I've been really curious to what happens. And Greg Miller does a comic book podcast that's monthly now, and he's been talking, and I've been kind of skipping around about everything and praising Tom King over and over again.
Yeah.
And everything I've read of Tom King has become a favorite thing I've read. So I want to read it.
Yeah.
I've been itching for a new
Tom
Batman
King
comic.
is out of all the people that we've met at cons, he's like too nice.
Really?
He's the nicest freaking guy. Like,
I love when
he tries so hard to make you feel like comfortable, like you're his best friend.
Really?
Like, he's awesome.
I love when he posts pictures of like jam session. Like he'll do. Someone will get a sketch cover and have like Jim Lee draw Batman,
Yeah.
and then like
he'll do
Jeff
something
Johns, or
stupid.
he'll have different artists draw Batman, and then he'll draw Batman.
and just ruin the cover. And he thinks
It's
it's
so
hilarious.
funny.
It's awesome.
We're gonna wrap up the episode now. I want to give a shout out to Christopher Swan. Wrote a great email to us talking about one of the super fights that we did, and talking more about doing a timeline. So that encouraged me to maybe look into doing a website for the podcast and doing a timeline and a reading order and such. Also, shout out to Luke Lizald, who sent us a great email in response to us asking for more feedback about going monthly and what kind of shows and topics we should do. And one of the things Luke wanted was more fan spotlight type stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode with Jen. If there's anyone else that would be interested in doing a fan spotlight, or if anyone else has any suggestions for the podcast, we'd love to hear it. If you want to read along with us, next we're doing Trade Paperback Volume 2. We'll be back next month with that. Remember, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We are going to be outroing every episode of the podcast now with a little bit of a different song, just to try something new for a little bit. If you or someone you know makes music, whether you're in a band or you know someone who is, and you'd like us to feature the music here on the podcast, we'd love to give it a shout out and play it. So first up comes from, of course, our good friend Wyatt Layne. He actually provided us with the music for the Oblivion Song podcast. So this is his song, Redshift, right?
That's my favorite one that he does.
Is it really?
Yeah, I really like it.
So cool.
It's a good one.
I know Wyatt Layne does puts all his music out on SoundCloud, and he releases one new song first Friday of every month as well. So we'll be back next first Friday. Thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
This is my superhero ice cream.
Maybe that should be our thing.
What?
Like we eat superhero ice cream during the podcast.
It's just the sound of
And that's all you hear is like the spoon just gross sounding slurp because it's 1,000,000 degrees in here, so it's just superhero soup. It's
superhero soup.
soup